Good morning, everyone. We are live here at EuroSTAR 2025, Edinburgh. And I'm Gag. I'm the head of QA and DevOps for this company, AICPA CIMA, Association for Accountants. So here, I'm very lucky to have Brian with me. And I will let Brian quickly introduce yourself. Maybe just a quick intro for our audience here.
Okay, no problem. I'm Brian Jones. I'm quality architect at 2i, who are a quality and testing consultancy based in Edinburgh. We're the UK's second biggest testing specialist. I also run a podcast called Quality Blether for the Scottish Testing Group, who are a community of testers in Scotland. We run lots of events and basically connect up testing groups that want to talk about quality testing or anything related to it, so that we can further our professional understandings, basically.
So, what makes you start to do this podcast and why this title, Quality Bladders?
Well, blether is an old Scots word meaning to chat or to talk, to have a conversation. And that's what these are all about. They're conversations about quality, not specifically testing, but quality as a whole, which means that I can basically talk to anybody. I've been talking to a guy who's doing a PhD on how agility is important within organizations and how to make an organization agile. And that has value streams that run through it,
Yeah.
which means that that's got quality.
Yeah.
So you're talking about quality at that point. So it's anything and everything about quality.
So anything that's really you can very remember significantly in all of your podcasts, any funny episodes or any very interesting ones?
Um, I find them all interesting because this is basically an excuse for me
Mm,
to talk to all these amazing people that know
Mm.
this incredible stuff,
mm,
and I get to absorb all of it. So it's great. For instance, Andrew Brown, who's already done his workshop here
yeah,
at EuroSTAR.
yeah,
I talked to him a couple of months ago
yeah.
about what he was doing in his workshop, about the simulations and models, and that's fascinating. Andrew Brown's brain is so big. He's an incredible guy. He's wonderful. So
That
amazing.
incredible guy just walked past us,
That's
Andrew.
cool. Just on cue. Perfect.
Yes.
But also people like A.D. Stokes, who specializes in accessibility testing.
Mm.
Amazing guy who came, he wasn't a tester, he wasn't even in IT to start with, but he started off as a lorry driver
Wow.
and he got dragged into it. And now he created the testing periodic table, which is a wonderful resource. And he's a great guy to talk to as well.
Mm.
So many people. Another person that's here today is
Yeah.
Kari Kakkonen,
Okay.
who wrote Dragons Out, the book on testing for children.
Testing for children.
Yeah.
How does that work then? We have very young talents then.
Basically, he tells stories about dragons, and the dragons are the problems,
Mm.
the bugs that you're actually finding when you're doing
Ah.
testing. And it works really well. It's a cool book. And he's a lovely bloke. Great.
Yeah. Probably
so-
this book will be come in different languages, translations,
Mhm.
for all children around the world to learn about testing. Yeah. And for regards about EuroSTAR, right? Because last year I met you through EuroSTAR. So what has changed from this last year to this year then? What has happened for you in this space?
And the format's changed a little bit because we've got the deep dives, which makes it even harder to choose what you want to go to see because you've got the 4 tracks and you've got the deep dives running alongside it. So you get a severe case of FOMO. That fear of missing out is so strong because there's so much going on. There's so much you could absorb. What else has changed? I quite like the new layout of having all the different rooms. That works quite well.
And this year we have it in your home country,
And it is
home city. Yeah.
home territory. It's
Yeah.
within commuting distance for me, which is brilliant.
Yeah, last year was at Stockholm in Sweden. And with regards about this AI, right? What have you noticed? Because last year EuroSTAR conference was about AI. what is AI look like in the next 5 years of testing, and how do you feel about now then for AI in testing?
There's a lot more information now. I mean, I've been doing my presentation on testing AI for about a year now, just over a year.
Yeah, I remember that was your last year talk,
Yeah.
right? Mm.
And I've had to update that literally every month to keep it in step, because there's so many changes going on, so much more that we're knowing about how things work. But I think the other interesting thing is how people's view of how to use AI has changed. So now it's becoming more a case of how can we use AI to help us, as opposed to, okay, AI is going to do all this for us.
Yeah.
It's not so much it taking over, it's us making the most of what it can provide us.
The fear, right, of using AI in testing, right? That's sort of like come down a bit now. Everybody's getting used to it.
Yeah, and AI is never going to take over from testers. There's always going to need to be testers. It's just that we're going to be able to use it to help us to move forwards. And it's not going to take over the automation. It can't. We still have to do that critical thinking. We still have to do the systems thinking. It can't do that for us at this point in time, and probably won't for quite a while. So we have to think. And that's our jobs as testers. We use critical thinking. That's the basis of everything we do. And we're still going to have to do it.
Yeah, we are the one to train the AI, right? So that the AI can work better for us and write better test cases for us, and they are, agents for us to use.
Yeah, and we're the ones that have to test the AI to make sure the AI is doing what we need it to.
Yes.
To provide
and
us
test
what
the
we want.
training model, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's a lot of exciting stuff for us to learn about AI, and that's why it's quite important.
Yeah.
For us to keep up to date in the EuroSTAR conference. Yeah.
But there's already a lot of very useful stuff to take away. For instance, I was saying before, Emna and Ayadi did a workshop yesterday on using it for quality coaching. And it's a pretty simplistic way of using it, but it's structured and it's predictable, and it cuts down the time that you need for prepping massively. It's really useful, and it's something that I'm definitely going to take away. I'm going to use.
Okay.
Whereas previously I probably wouldn't have done.
Is it open source or is it?
I believe they're making it open source.
Okay, which is brilliant. I always support open source software, so that is
Yeah.
very good news for us. Yeah. And what will be coming out for you next then? Yeah, in terms of quality and AI testing.
What's coming up next?
Yes.
It's interesting. I mean, something that we're working on as a company.
Yeah.
And we've got the first version of out there and being used, is to be able to analyze ERP platforms and speed up the regression testing cycle, so that the users aren't getting tied up doing testing, because testing is not what users are good at. Okay,
Yeah.
they're good at breaking things because they will always do things you don't expect.
Yeah.
So you always need them in there at some point.
Yeah.
But all the really boring, mundane regression stuff, like from the update cycles and all that
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of stuff, that takes so much time and effort. And doing it old school with scripts and
Yeah.
even automating those scripts and then running them through, that can take so long. And AI can help us speed that up so much. But it's not going to take away the actual working out to make sure we're covering everything. It'll produce the majority, but we still have to look at it and go, do these make sense? Can we use these? So it's going to speed things up massively, and it's going to reduce the amount of time that users are spending doing regression testing. But you're still going to need a test team to make sure it's good stuff.
So one question that comes to my mind, right, Brian?
Yeah.
How do you ensure the quality that is being done by the AI is sufficient, is high quality? How do you make sure that we are not cutting the corners by doing it fast and ending us in bigger problem later on? Technical debts.
We're now getting into a philosophical discussion around what quality is. But
how do you do it on your end, your personal experience? Yeah, since you're involved in this project, how do you ensure that the quality that is not suffer from you using AI?
In my mind, there's two things that you can consider within the quality. One is the stuff that you can measure.
Yeah.
The easy stuff that is like, how many test cases, what's the coverage from those. You can plot out the coverage, all those sort of things. And then there's the stuff that's harder to measure, the non-tangible, the how does that feel? Does it feel like, has it missed something?
Yeah.
Is there something going on in the back of your brain which going, what about that edge case? What happens if I do this?
Yeah.
All that curiosity stuff that we as testers have to be able to do our job well, plus the critical thinking that we need to do our job well, still has to be in there. And we have to look at what it's producing and go, is it right? We can't just assume that what it produces is good. We still have to have that human in the loop, which is
as the guardrail, as the guardians of it.
And I think human in the loop is the wrong term for it. We should be talking about AI in the loop rather than human in the loop. Humans are always going to have to be there.
Yeah.
As far as we can see for the near future. So we're still going to have that quality consideration that we can do as humans, as opposed to an automated checking to see whether it's good.
Oh. And how long does it take for you to convince your team members to be on the same platform as you are, to use AI then?
It varies quite drastically. Some of our team are very, very keen and they're already using AI to assist. Others, it's a secondary thing. You sort of remind them, go, have you considered putting that through our AI engine and having a look at what comes out? Because we're not using it to do our tasks for us, to simulate ideas, to polish things, and then we can look at it and go, actually, no, that's rubbish. Cross that out. Or, yeah, that's cool, but we need to tweak it a little bit. So it's speeding things up. It's not doing things for us. It's not moving.
Like quite recently is about for AI certified for tester. So tester can actually do AI certification that give them formal training, learning
like the
about
ISTQB ones.
Yes, that's one is very good. Yeah, so folks who are new to AI testing actually can go for it and learn formal way and informal way, like listening to your quality podcast to understand about AI and testing. So that's I find that it's quite good that we have all these different source of learning for people who wants to learn about AI and be good at it. So how do you consider someone to be who has never touched AI and but is in testing for a long time? Yeah. Because everybody is using it, you can't run away from it. It's just like learning how to use a mobile phone. How do you encourage that person to do the first step forward from your personal experience, from your coaching, from your training?
It depends on what you want them to be doing with it, whether you want them to be using it as an assistive tool, in which case...
What is the easiest stepping stone for them? Yeah, the easiest step for them to do it.
Using it as an assistive tool is pretty straightforward.
I think that one too.
Because you can demonstrate it. You can just go, right, this is how we can, for instance, set up a workshop. We can get some ideas for how to do, facilitate a workshop for training in different ideas. Put it in this format. Then it comes up with some ideas. And you go, I like that one. We'll use that one. Tell me more details on that.
Yeah.
So that speeds up the prep process, because it gives you all the different ideas straight off.
Yeah, you have another buddy, right, who is like not tired of you and not, say, oh, go away, you've been talking too much, I can keep you using it.
Yeah, Emna was using a lovely term. She was talking about rubber ducking 2.0. So the technique of talking to a rubber duck is like talking to a buddy, but they can't answer back. Well, with AI, it's 2.0 because the AI can talk back. You can ask it questions about what you're doing and say, I'm thinking of this, what do you think? And it can bounce ideas back to you.
Yeah.
Now, it's only going to be based on the database it's got.
Yes,
definitely. But at the same time, it's still going to allow you to voice your thoughts, and then you can analyze them. You know?
Do you have any concern then about the data that we feed into AI? Do you have any concern that we are feeding so much things to out there?
Massively.
Massively.
One of the key factors in any system, but more so in AI, is the data. And we as testers really do need to buddy up with data scientists and data engineers, because the models always have to have a data feed in and out.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be problems within those, because there
Yes.
always have been.
Yeah.
That's software. That's what happens.
Yeah. We have all these test data also. Yeah. We need to clean it
Totally.
up.
And incidentally, that's another area which is really useful. AI generating test data sets.
Yes.
So I think it's exciting. We're definitely in very exciting times,
Yeah.
but we still have to have a degree of caution in how we use it, and we still need our critical thinking and our systems thinking to be able to use it effectively and to test it effectively.
Yeah,
because it needs
definitely.
testing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brian, sharing your insights on AI and testing for us in this EuroSTAR conference 2025 in Edinburgh. Thank you, everyone.